So we're just getting ourselves settled, laid down. We'll be here for about 10 minutes, so do make sure that you're warm, you're comfy, you're free of as much distraction as you can be. So take your time, don't feel that you have to rush. So just have a little last minute check for anything that you might want to change. And then see if you can commit to a little time of stillness now. So welcome to Yin Yoga. And I'll explain about Yin as we move through our practice. Also explain a little bit about seasons. Yin Yoga is closely linked to traditional Chinese medicine or Eastern wisdom, and something called the 5 element theory, which is about the seasons, our emotions, and how everything is connected to nature, and all parts of us are connected to all other parts of us, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So an invitation to close the eyes. And just begin to take your awareness inwards. And we're going to begin, if we can, to become aware and connected to our physical body. So this is perhaps where intuition exists for us. And if you were having a conversation with your own body, is there anything that you think your body would want you to know? So maybe you don't have to share this. This is just for you. Be truthful. Move away from judgment. Be more curious. So what would your body want you to know if it could speak to you? What might your body tell you that it's yearning for? And some of this you might already kind of feel, or you might intuitively know. Some of it you might think, do you know what, I don't know, and I've never really thought about that. Either way is fine. What's your body yearning for? And how would you like your body to feel? And how do you think your body would like to feel this year? It might be words that come to mind. It might be sensations, tones, emotions. How would you and your body like to feel this year? And then if you were to have a conversation with what you see is your spirit or soul, for some, this might just be having a conversation with your heart space. What does your spirit, your soul, or your heart want you to know? What would it say to you that it wants you to know? What would it tell you that it's yearning for? And how does your spirit, your soul, your heart, however you see or feel this, want to feel this year? And the joy of kind of having these conversations is that we can come back to them, and we're ever changing. So our ideas or our intuition about what is right might change. So just some thoughts, just some self-observation. And how do you feel right in this moment? If you could describe it in words, emotions, sensations. Again, you don't have to share it. This is just for you. How do you feel? Knowing that you are welcome in the space, however you come into it. And take a nice deep breath in through the nose, sigh it out of the mouth. And we'll just leave that part of our practice where it is. So, of course, you might be kind of connecting to your body, and yin gives us really nice time to do that. So, at each kind of shape that we explore or parts of stillness, you might be thinking, what's my body communicating now? What does it want? What does it need? So for now, just start to bring a little bit of awakening to your body in the way that feels right for you. It might be very small movement, it might be more expansive. So I'll just take these next few moments for you to awaken in a way that feels right for you. And then when you're ready to, just start to bring the soles of the feet to the earth. You could pull the bolster in towards your bum, you could kick it away, whatever feels good. And you should have a strap just to your right hand side. If you take hold of the strap and just gently unravel the strap, we try and make everything in our practice kind of mindful in here. So everything that we do is with intention and attention. And once it's unraveled, we'll keep the left foot to the earth. We'll start to bring the right knee in towards us. We might need to lift head and shoulders up as we take the strap around the arch of your right foot. Nice deep breath in, draw that knee in towards you as much as you can. So thinking almost like, oh, I'm tucking this in my armpit. Might never get there. That's just where the intention lies. And then as you breathe out, start to extend the foot to the sky. Let the strap slide through the hands. Soften the shoulders and the elbows to the earth. And we're going to take 2.5 minutes here. So when we first come into our shape in yin, we kind of have that conversation, I guess, with our body and think, have I gone like, what, straight into this? Do I need to soften off slightly? So you might feel sensation. What we're looking for is, yeah, sensation, definitely not pain. Somewhere that you can maintain a shape and it doesn't feel too overwhelming, but equally it doesn't feel like, you know, what am I doing here? What's the point of this shape? So if you feel okay where you are, just gently holding the strap. So try not to hold and grasp too hard. You might close the eyes, soften the upper body if you can. So the face, the shoulders. If you need to, absolutely release from any shape that we explore in the practice, but I encourage you to do it really slowly. So you don't have to, again, share your reasons. Some shapes just don't suit our bodies on different days. Some shapes might never work for our anatomy, and that's okay. Sometimes it might just feel a bit ick and we don't want to be in that shape. So we're nearly halfway there. Just noticing how it feels. And a lot of our shapes are going to be about the lower body or moving into slightly into upper body. So thinking about grounding, we're also thinking about supporting the organs of winter, which our energy lines for these organs exist, yes, through the whole of the body, but mainly through lower parts of the body. So this is kidney and bladder. It's linked to water, which is the element of winter. Last few breaths. You might find that you deepen your breath. You might find that you sigh, just to add some softness. Nice and slowly, as you exhale, just bending the knee, release the strap, pop the foot to the earth. Take a breath in, and then as you breathe out, slide the legs down onto the mat. So just come into a mini Shavasana. And you might notice, if you take awareness to the lower body, that one leg feels slightly different to the other. Sounds silly, but sometimes when we've worked with extending our leg, one will feel like slightly longer and stretched out than the other. And then we're going to take it over to the other side. So we bend the knees, place the feet to the earth, move into it as slowly as you can. So these interesting conversations and interesting learnings about the body happen when we slow it down rather than speed it up. Hook around the left foot, inhale, draw the knee in towards you. Exhale, extend the leg away. Just bringing the shoulders and elbows to the earth. Perhaps softening into the jaw, checking you're not clenching the teeth. And when you feel like you're in the right space for this side, see if you can settle on your next exhale breath. Again, you're not forced to be in the shape. It can feel very different from one side to the other. So just be mindful of how it does feel, if you need to release, if you need to just back off a little bit. Sometimes, especially in a kind of new year, it's this pressure, isn't there, of like, yeah, come on, go at everything full force. This is the traditional new year. The astrological new year starts in March with spring. So if you don't feel like new year is like your new year, that's okay. Your new year can begin whenever you want it to begin. We're halfway there. One minute left here. Do we need to loosen our grip, or perhaps there's a bit more space that we feel we can change our shape slightly? So yin is almost like this constant conversation in a way with the body. So listening to the little subtle messages. If we go too far, perhaps we're listening to the louder conversation. Last few breaths. And as you exhale, bend the knee, release the foot, pop your strap to the side now. We're done with it here. Reground through the feet for a breath. And then exhale, slide the feet down onto the mat. You might be drawn to bring them closer together, further apart, and let the toes roll out. Just taking a mini shavasana. And in shavasana, there's this overall sense of softness from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes and the soles of the feet. And winter really is the time that welcomes softness, death, decay. So it's telling us in nature just to really slow down, honor rest. From here, just roll yourself over onto the right side of your body and snuggle up there for a moment. It's almost like you were in bed. And then push into the earth and start to bring yourself into a seated position, into Sukhasana, if that's okay. So you could sit on your thin block, you could support your thighs with your fat blocks. I'm sitting on my bolster, just so it's more comfortable for me right now. So whatever you feel you need to use, if you're a bit chilly, take a blanket, just pop it over your shoulders. We're going to come into a short breathing concentration practice. So let your hands just rest wherever feels natural. Sometimes it's better to close the eyes to find that out so that we're not looking, thinking, oh, is that okay? Does that look right? We want to have a tall spine, but we're not overly rigid. So we can feel the seat grounding down. We can feel the crown of the head rising up. The shoulders are dropped away from the ears. And we start to take our awareness to our breath. So that might be for you the sound of your breath. That might be the sensation of where you can feel your breath in the body. Maybe something else about the breath. And we're going to begin with 1 minute. So 1 minute where we continuously, if the mind becomes distracted, draw it back to our breath. It doesn't matter how many times we're distracted, that's the nature of the mind. If we're distracted, we just come back to the next inhale. We've done 1 minute, well done. Just gently blinking the eyes open. Drop the knees to the side, and we're going to make our way onto our hands and knees. So you can always use a blanket to support your knees if you wish. Just take it nice and slowly. Let's spread the fingers, plant the hands into the earth, have the shoulders over the wrists, and maybe the hips and the knees in line. And just begin by kind of tapping into any kind of natural movement that comes from you being here. So it might be padding the hands, might be swaying the hips, letting the head be heavy, or it might be actually that you get here and you're just like, oh, stillness is nice. So just spend a few moments just with whatever your own natural movement is. And then let's take it into a couple of cat and cows. So we let the belly drop down as the heart shines forwards, the chin lifts. As we breathe out, we arch the spine to the sky and look to the heart. Just take 2 more. Your pace, your version of the movement. And then come back to a neutral spine position. From here, we're going to pop down onto our forearms and then take the legs back behind us so we come onto the belly. And take the arms nice and far forward, so almost flat to the earth. I'm going to catch hold of opposite elbows. And we could keep that hold if we wanted to, as we just start to shuffle the elbows in. So you'll notice it feels like you're kind of opening up from hips through belly into the belly button and also compressing through your low back. You might come in as far as shoulders over the elbows. That might feel like, actually, that's a bit too much. So decide on where your position is. Then turn the fingertips forwards if that feels okay. Spread the fingers. And we kind of draw ourselves forwards a little bit here, lifting the heart space. So just be mindful that we're not collapsing the neck into the shoulders. So we're pushing through the elbows to lift the head and the heart. This is our Sphinx position. Just gazing towards the earth, slightly ahead or closing the eyes. We're going to take 3 minutes here, and there's loads of different variations of this. So one of them is that we could have the bolster there. So that's kind of offering us a little bit of support. We could take the arms further forwards. Would advise that if you have any lower back issues, you can use blocks just to rest the head on. So find your variation. Once you feel that you found it, take a breath in and out. And just commit to being still here. If distraction starts to kind of pull you in all kinds of different directions, perhaps you just come back to that curiosity from the beginning of the practice. Have a conversation with your body or with your heart. What's happening in your body right now? Where are the strong sensations? Can we send our breath there? Are there any areas that feel quite tense or like we're holding or squeezing that we could soften? Halfway there. If it becomes very intense, you can always take the elbows wider, bring the head down, or slide the fingertips further forwards. For some people, it's lower spine. For me, I tend to feel it in my shoulders and my shoulder blades. Last 30 seconds. And just slowly start to take the arms wider, relaxing the head down. You might come onto the forehead or one side of the head or face. You might have a little wiggle of your hips from side to side. And then let's bring the hands onto the earth. A little bit of energy required here to push into the earth. Come onto the knees. Take the knees wider. We're going to come into child's pose, maybe with a little bit of support. So bring the bum down to the heels and nuzzle it in there. Then maybe we bring the bolster. It almost kind of comes into the green space. Depends how long your upper body is. We can bring it down and we can just hug it and lie on it if that feels nice. If we need more height, we can put blocks underneath it or on top of it. So find your version. Feel free to have a little play around with props, without props. And then settle on whatever your version of child's pose is. And take a deep breath in and out. I've already mentioned your kidneys and bladder are your water element organs. The water element is the element of winter. Winter is the deepest time of yin or passive or rest energy. So physically, your kidneys are kind of bean-shaped organs on either side of the spine at the lower back. So partly behind the lower ribs. If you think about where we've just been, we've been taking some of our awareness there into the rib cage and a little back bend. The right kidney is typically a little bit lower than the left to accommodate the liver. And they are key in filtering blood, regulating fluids. And your bladder is, of course, a stretchable sac behind the pubic bone, and it stores and eliminates urine. So the connection there is that our kidneys and bladder are very much to do with water or moisture, and we are in the water element. I'm going to take one more minute here. If you find yourself distracted, maybe use that minute to focus on your breath. Last 30 seconds. Is there any more softness that can come over body or mind? And slowly push the hands into the earth. It's like you're coming up hibernation yourself. You start to rise upwards. And we're going to find our way back into a seated position. So you could take the knees to the side or cross the ankles behind you. we're coming back to our breathing focus. And we're going to up it to 2 minutes. So find that tall but not too rigid spine. Laying the hands down where it feels okay. Gently closing the eyes or fixing the gaze down towards the earth. And it can feel more complex to focus on something the longer we take about it. So if it works for you, you could count the breath now to help you keep your mind with the breath. So an inhale and an exhale is 1. The next inhale and exhale 2, and so on. And then if distraction pulls you away, you just go, oh, okay, I got distracted. I've kind of forgot where I'm up to. I'm just going to start again with 1. You take a breath in. So if that works for you, use that. If not, that's okay. 2 minutes. Just gently blinking the eyes open. Well done. It's 2 minutes. So we're going to take the legs out wider into our straddle position, or in the yin, it's called dragonfly. And just kind of have a sense of whether when you extend the legs, if that feels quite a lot through the backs of the legs. So if it does, it can always be an idea just to have your blanket, roll it up and just offer it a little bit of support. So we take it behind the left knee to begin with. We're going to bring the right heel in towards the left groin. So see how it feels. A little bit of a flex to that extended foot. The hips are still nicely forwards. We breathe in. And as we breathe out, we start to lead with the heart. And then at that point where we feel like that's enough now, we might just look to the earth and add a little bit of rounding here. We could use the bolster. Just rest our head on a bolster. Dependent sort of how our forward fold goes, we might stack bricks or bolsters. So again, we're going to be here for 3 minutes. So have a little play round with what you feel works for you. And there's no really kind of grabbing ourselves forwards, making ourselves come forwards. The breath, if there is space in the body, will allow us to just soften, soften, soften over the course of these 3 minutes. If you start to feel like the back of that left leg, or particularly the back of the knee, is like that's really quite pulling, then you could always bend into that left leg and you could be on the left heel instead. So adapt it to whatever feels good for you. 2.5 minutes left here. Soften the face. your shoulders, all the way down to the tips of the fingers. So this is our half dragonfly position. Two minutes left here. Perhaps you work with that breath counting if you found that that helped to keep you present. Perhaps you take awareness to a conversation with your body. What part is telling you that this is quite challenging, or maybe that there's not enough sensation there? Halfway there. Last few breaths. And as slowly as you can, start to rise upwards. Just come back to neutral spine, let go of the bolster if you had one. And then we'll take that right leg, extend it away. You might feel like you want to take the hands behind you, fingertips point away, and just have a little lift and open into the heart. So by drawing the shoulder blades together, we can lift the chest. So much of winter in yin is about moving forwards and downwards with our body and energy. It's that hibernation state. So it's nice to just open up through the heart and chest. Tuck the chin towards the chest, walk back inwards, and we're going to switch sides. So take your time. We'll support the back of that right leg or knee if we need to. We'll bring the left heel in towards us. If you find there's quite a lot of space behind or underneath this kind of left knee or thigh, you can always stack some blocks there. Take a breath in, sit tall, lead with the heart as you go first, breathing out, and then at that point where it feels that you just need to let go and fall forwards, go for it. Support the head if you wish or not. And let's take our 3 minutes here. Maintaining a gentle focus on something within our practice. So often when we're in yin, it might be that boredom or distraction comes in. That's okay, that's natural. But we want to make the most of this time, savor this time. So the colours associated with winter are dark blue and black. Downward movement, which I just said, organs, kidney and the bladder. And bones are associated with winter, so working through bone, which yin yoga does very well. Halfway there. So the shapes for each season or each element are designed to support the organs of that season, to support something we call our meridian lines. In Hatha Yoga, we call them nadis. So these are energy lines that run through the body. And it's important in any kind of yoga or holistic healing sense that we have a free flow of energy. It's sometimes called prana. In Chinese medicine, it's called qi or kui. So this free flow of energy, this vital life force, is what essentially keeps us alive, keeps us healthy. Last minute last few breaths. And slowly start to unroll. Just find neutral spine and a breath. And then extending through the leg. If it feels right, take the hands behind you and just lift into the heart space, up to the sky. Chin comes to chest, walking the hands in towards you. I'm going to take our final little bit of breath focus. So we've done a lot of external rotation, so a lot of outwards in the hips. So if you feel like actually it's a bit too much for you to sit cross-legged, you could kneel. If you feel like kneeling is quite heavy on the heels, have your bolster in between the legs. You can even have your bolster and a block just by the bum. So find the position that you feel is best for you. Still with a tall spine. Hands just rest where they feel comfortable to. Crown of the head towards the sky. And here, you could just bring your awareness to the breath, whatever that means for you. You could count the breath, or if the counting of the breath didn't work, when you breathe in, you might just gently say or think in the mind, in or inhale. And then as you breathe out, exhale, whatever works. So maintaining focus. I'm going to take it up to 3 minutes here. You might find yourself distracted over and over, or with each upper count, you might find, oh, there's less distraction. So just do your best without any judgment. And the eyes open. That was 3 minutes. We're going to make our way down onto the mat. So have everything either set up or close to you that you will want for Shavasana. So if you want a couple of blankets, if you want a bolster, just take your time to come down onto the back of your body. And when you get onto the back of your body, just perhaps return to that conversation with your body. Is there anything that would feel quite nice for you here? So it's not uncommon to finish practices with a twist. So you might just want to drop your knees from one side to the other. Maybe you just want to be still. Maybe you want to have a stretch. So we're going to take just a minute or so here for you to decide if there's anything that would feel nice for you. And then let's start to settle ourselves into Shavasana. Make sure you're warm enough that there is limited distraction. And an invitation just to pick your head up off the earth, tuck the chin to the chest, and then pop the head back down. So find a little bit of length through the neck. Take awareness to the soles of your feet, the tips of your toes, and offer them some rest. The lower legs and the knees, allowing them to rest. The thighs, the glutes, the groin space, the hips, allowing them to rest. And become aware of your spine. Perhaps you inhale, breathe your way from base to top of the spine. Exhale from top to base of spine. Allow it to relax. The back rib cage, the shoulder blades, the shoulders, the upper arms, softening the elbows and the lower arms. The wrists, the hands, the tips of the fingers. Bringing a softness to the features of your face, the throat space, the collarbone, past the whisperings of the heart and into the rib cage and down to the belly button, where your gentle and natural breath expands and relaxes, just guiding you through your relaxation. Come back to the breath if you need it. It's there as a guide, or perhaps just be with the softening of the body. Nothing else to do now but rest. Just drifting off into your own short hibernation. Beginning to deepen your breath. Start to bring some gentle movement to your physical body. Whatever feels right for you. It might be expansive, it might just be very subtle. Be aware of who and what is in your space. You might take your blanket with you as you just roll to whichever side of your body calls you. Snuggle up on the side of your body for a moment, like you just rolled over in bed. Push into the air. Perhaps keep the eyes closed. Just have a soft gaze as you start to bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. So sitting nice and tall, you might place the hands onto the heart, you might press the palms together at the heart space, and just gently drop the chin to the chest. Just take a moment to thank yourself. And thanking each other. So I hope you have a restful evening. Thank you very much for joining me. The light and dark in me, or as the light and dark within you. Namaste.